One book.
Two minds.
No guarantees that we'll agree.
I'm MJ.
I'm Alan, and this is Shelf Talkers.
This month on Shelf Talkers, it's The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. This is literary fiction. This book was released last spring, 2024. We have not discussed the book. We have not talked about the book. I am not familiar with Liz Moore's work. I picked up this book based on the cover and a little bit about the plot blurb. So it's going to be interesting. This episode is going to be interesting. Hi, Alan. How are you?
Hi, MJ. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Here we are again for another episode of Shelf Talkers.
Yeah, different book this time.
Very different. So, are you ready to see my thoughts about it?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, let's check it out. Okay, everyone. So this month, my pick was The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. I got this edition from Book of the Month last year. I absolutely think that this cover is stunning. Absolutely stunning. And I love that Book of the Month never puts blurbs on the back. I had high expectations going into this. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to get. And I'm going to say that I got way more than I bargained for. And not in a good way because I DNF'd it. I DNF'd it. So many people really enjoyed this book. I made it to page 229. So halfway. And I couldn't commit time to the other half of the book because I didn't want to put time towards the other half of the book. The way that this story started out was wonderful. So, bare bones plot, we have a camp, we have a girl, we have camp counselors and staff that wake up and the girl's not in her bed. She wasn't there. Opens up a whole can of worms. We get into some serious character work. Liz Moore's writing is so detailed, but detailed not in a secret history way. That was a very detailed book, and I loved that book. I loved that book. But there's something about this book that just didn't jive with me. And I know I'm in the minority. I know I am. I don't know if it's the time hops because we have multiple characters, we have multiple perspectives and multiple time hops. And every chapter has the name of the character and the year. So there's this timeline that's not fluid, but it's trying to piece together the history as to how we got to that place, if that makes sense. Yeah, so where I ended was Alice 1962. So there's different time points. There's different points of time for each character as we're going through the story. This I'm not going to call it a slow burn because there was no burn for me. Nothing gripped me to keep turning the pages. It just wasn't there. It's just not the book for me at this time, for me. It's not my style. I'm not going to say it's not what I expected, but I didn't expect it to be so much. This is just a slow book. I'm not into slow books. I like things happening. You know, the first, I'm going to say like the first 100 pages, maybe. Loved it. Loved it. But then we started getting in the messy family dynamics, and there's a lot. There's a lot. It's just not for me. So at 219 pages, which is a little less than halfway, I DNF'd it. Because I did the immersive. So I had the physical book that I was reading along with the audiobook. And I did that because I thought that that would be a good experience for me with this. I don't read a lot of literary fiction. I don't read a lot of, this style book. You know me. I read a little bit of everything. But this one just didn't catch me. It didn't grip me past a certain point. And I kept reading and waiting for something to happen, and nothing happened. We just got deeper into the backstory, which is fine. But that's not what I wanted out of this book. So, hate to say it, but The God of the Woods by Liz Moore is a DNF for me. Just not my type of book. Is Liz Moore's writing good? Absolutely, it's good. And it's funny because last year I actually went to a seminar held by her literary agent. And he represents Liz Moore. And I was like, wow, he has a lot of great authors under his belt. But this book just didn't do it for me. It's just not my jive. So I do embrace DNFs. I tend to give books chances. So maybe I'll DNF and put aside till later. This is a hard DNF for me. I'm not going to pick this back up. Nothing about this book wants me to pick it back up. I am not invested enough to care as to what happens in this book. So hopefully Alan had a different experience. We knew this was going to happen for something, for at least one book. We knew this was going to happen. So I will take the award for DNFing the first book on Shelf Talkers. Hopefully there won't be many of these, but this was a pass for me. Yeah. And apologies to anybody that loves this book. It's just not for me. Not every book is written for every reader. Okay? So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Alan and see what he says. It's got to be better.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. This month on Shelf Talkers, we've been reading The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. And I have to say, this book has given me sleepless nights because it's so good. I don't know why I'm shocked. I think because it's an author I've never heard of before, because I didn't know anything about the book at all until MJ suggested we read it. And I have to say, other than a bit of a slow start and some slightly discombobulating, what's the word, scenery placing around a summer camp, which is not something I'm really familiar with. We don't have summer camps really in the UK. and the only kind of prior exposure I've had is probably Peanuts cartoons, if I'm being perfectly honest. So other than that, those two things, this book, I read it in 3 days, and it's 430 something, 435 pages. I read it in 3 days. A lot of that was through staying up very late at night in bed reading, because it just is one of those books that kept me wanting to find out what happens next. I'm sure MJ will have done a bit of an introduction, but essentially this is a mystery, kind of set in two time periods, sort of the 50s and 60s, and then in the 70s, and about two missing children. One who went missing in the kind of first time period and was never found, and one in the more recent mid-70s time period who just vanishes one day. Both are children from the same family, and there is some speculation about the family. The family own the summer camp, or at least they own the ground that the summer camp is on, and it's really cleverly done. It's written from multiple perspectives. So a chapter is often written from the perspective of, say, the mother or one of the kids at the summer camp, or one of the police detectives who's investigating the disappearances. So it's got lots of different viewpoints of sort of what's been going on. There's obviously jumps backwards and forwards in time, but that's done really well. It's not kind of too clunky, which often happens when you have two different kind of time periods. You get a bit lost as to, well, where are we now? It's really done really clearly in this. There are a lot of characters. I had to kind of write a bit of a list to keep my head straight as to, because you're only given Christian names, really. So it's like, Tracy, who is one of the kids at the camp. There's Judy, who's one of the detectives. And you kind of, you're chapter to chapter different character. And I think that threw me a little bit. So I had a bit of a list as to, the name of the person, who they were, or what they would, that, kid at the campground, police detective, mum of the missing child, and so on. But my God, talk about wanting to keep you reading. I think there's a real talent to anybody who can write a book in such a way that is, it's not a small book, but write it in such a way that you kind of want to read the next chapter and the next chapter. And for me, this was a really good story. There were times when I thought, the story was going to go in a particular direction. There are, characters in it who have, let's say, self-interest in, the outcome of both the previous disappearance and the current one. Are the two connected? Is it just a random coincidence that it's two children from the same family? What's the connection between, the people who've been running the campground for effectively 20 plus years? All sorts of things. Is there there's an escaped convict? Is he responsible? There's all sorts of potential outcomes, and I won't say the one that proves to be true is kind of the most obvious, because I don't think it is, but it's also not the least obvious either. So it's one of those stories where you have to read right to the end to find out what happens. It does kind of tie things up quite satisfyingly. I think there wasn't really any there wasn't any really bits of the story that were left over where you think, well, they didn't explain how, that happened, or, what happened to that character. They just kind of, they were there and then they just, she stopped writing about them. She does kind of give an ending and closure to kind of all the characters who appear, without necessarily kind of giving you their, what they did in their life for the next 20 years, for example. There is it does have a nice tidy ending, which I think for this particular book works well. I'm not sure it always works in all books, but yeah, I really really enjoyed this. In a way, I'm ashamed that I read it so quickly. Maybe I should have savored it. But no, I enjoyed this. Thank you, MJ. I'm glad you recommended this. This was a great book.
Well,
Slightly difference of opinion there then.
it's a little bit. So you have more experience, more history. I mean, do you read mysteries often like this?
I read a lot. I do read a lot of mysteries. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't, unfortunately.
and I think this was, as I say, the first. I think you said this as well. The first 100 pages,
Yeah.
I was a bit like, I'm not quite sure what's going on, and I had to kind of get my head
Mhm.
in the, and I've got literally, 2
No.
pages of names, because every sort of 10 pages there was somebody new, and I was
Yeah.
like, if I don't write the names down, I am
Mhm.
really going to get lost.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm trying to think what there are. I suppose mystery writers like PD James and people like that who write quite a slow burn narrative
Mhm.
that'll take 500 or 600 pages to kind of get to the what actually happened.
Mhm.
um, and I think in some ways this is similar to that, added to the fact that there were the 2 kids, the one from the 60s who disappeared and the one in the 70s, and it was switching between the 2 stories. And it becomes evident towards the end of the book, I think, why she did that.
Mhm.
Um, I don't really want to spoil the ending.
I think you can, because I don't. You would really have to convince me hard to pick this book back up.
Yeah, yeah.
I just, you know, the timeline, the multiple points of view, the characters. I was trying to keep everything in my head. And then I honestly checked out. Like I did
Mm,
not care what happened with the book. I'm like, you know what? I'm already almost halfway and it's time to DNF. You are not
yeah,
having a good time with this book at all. So that's what I did.
yeah. No, I think then, I mean, what it's probably worth saying is, in terms of the 2 kids, so Bear, who is the one who goes missing
Mhm.
first, and then Barbara, who goes missing later,
Right.
they are very much kind of just, they're like family assets. That's how the family treats them.
Mhm.
Um, and, you know, in a way, how the circumstances surrounding their disappearances in both cases. So in the first one, you kind of see what happened and who got blamed, you know, to basically take the focus away from the family, because you know, it's kind of the family is
Mhm.
it's family first,
Right.
basically.
Right.
And then in the second case, it's kind of like, well, you know, there's a certain amount of preempting something bad happening in terms of that disappearance.
Mhm.
So it's, you know, they're not they're not specifically related. You know, it's
Mhm.
not like it's the um you know, it's not like it's the convict guy who happens to appear in both cases. You know, it's much more, it's more complicated but more subtle, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
You know,
completely.
and ultimately it's quite a satisfying when it's all explained, it's quite satisfying, albeit, you know, quite horrible in certain aspects.
Mhm.
So, you know, I mean, it's yeah. I like I say, I really enjoyed it,
I'm so glad one of us did.
and it did. It was literally like, I mean, okay, slight confession. And this was September's book, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And we recorded the last episode on a Sunday,
Mhm.
and then it went live the following Sunday because that's
Mhm.
just the way because this goes out on the last day of the month.
Yeah.
Well, my book arrived on the Tuesday, so we recorded the last episode on the Sunday. My book arrived on the Tuesday, and I'd finished it before the last episode had come out.
Oh my gosh.
So
That's
I've been sitting
amazing.
on it for like a month.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing. And I mean, we don't talk to each other at all during this. I didn't even text you to check in and see, "Hey, how you doing with the book?" Nope.
Yeah,
I didn't do
and like,
anything.
yeah, done. But
Mhm.
yeah, no, I mean, I did really, I didn't think, I have to say, when I got it and I looked at it, I thought, I don't think I'm gonna like this.
Mhm.
You know, I did think, I thought, oh, you know, and then as I say, the stuff about the summer camp and things, which is completely, no, I know nothing.
Right.
So I was trying to get my head around that. I think, you know, I hope there's, you know, I hope I can just get into the book and get, you know, that becomes kind of just incidental, which it did.
Right.
But yeah, no,
Well,
really
I'm
good.
so glad. And you read it in 3 days. That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, literally, it turned up on I think it was a Tuesday, and I'd finished it by the weekend.
Okay. Well, this one makes up for the secret history.
Yeah, well, I finished the Secret History.
I know, because you didn't want to DNF it could be in the first episode.
Exactly. Well, there is that. Yeah, I think I've got my free pass now for a DNF if I need
Yeah.
one. But
Yes, and I embrace DNFs. I'm not one that is going to suffer through a
no,
book just to finish a book. That's not me. That's
no,
not me.
I think that's perfectly. You know, I'm the same. You know, sometimes I will think I'm going to put it to one side and come back to it later. So it's
Mhm.
not. I mean, you know, but other times I'll be like, no, it's gone,
Yeah,
done, done and dusted. I'm never going to pick this up again.
yeah. That
You know.
that's my definition of a soft DNF where there's a chance I'm gonna come back to it.
Mm,
And then hard DNF, nope, it's not gonna happen.
yeah.
Yeah, so well, I'm glad you had a wonderful time reading it. I'm glad that this worked out, but, you know, not so much for me.
Yeah, no, I'm quite shocked actually. I
Really?
mean, this is, yeah, for the second month.
Okay.
I thought I was reading us. I was thinking, you know, I think MJ will enjoy this.
Mhm.
Um,
I started thinking and I'm like, at first I wasn't sure.
mm,
And then as it started going in and I said, he's going to love this book.
mm,
I just had that gut feeling and it was
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. No, it was good. You know,
Good.
it's enough of a mystery. You know, um, slightly less characters would have been good. You know,
Mm,
I do. I think it's just getting old. I struggle to kind of keep all the names in my head.
yeah. There were a lot and like I said, I did the immersion. So I had the audiobook and then I had the physical book and I'm going along and I didn't write in the book or tab it or anything like that, but I'm taking notes on mentally and I'm like, okay, where's this going? And like I
Mm,
said, I love a slow burn book, but there wasn't a burn for me.
mm,
You know,
yeah.
it just wasn't there. So what are you going to do? Move on to the next
Move
one.
on. Yeah. There's always another book.
That's right. So that's a good segue. Should we talk about the book
Yeah.
for October? Okay. So this book we agreed on mutually because we both have it.
Yep.
And it's a good book for I'm thinking, is it mystery too? It's a little bit of
It's
mystery
a
and then a little bit of maybe some supernatural stuff going on.
yeah, it's a PI. I nearly read it for PI July,
Okay.
but
And go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say I just had so many books for PI July, I just never got to it. So
And this one fits in very well with Occult Detective October.
mm,
So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to push for the book. And then when you said that you were meaning to read it back in July and you had it, we're like, okay, let's read it. So the book is John Connelly, Every Dead Thing. And that's number 1 in the Charlie Parker series, I guess. So I'm really looking forward to it. It says, what does it say? A Charlie Parker thriller.
yeah,
That's what they call it.
yeah.
So
No,
I really don't know anything about Charlie Parker. So I'm looking forward to it.
yeah. I know a little bit about kind of the backstory to the character, but I would guess that comes out in the first bit of the book anyway. So yeah, we'll talk about it when we've read it. But yeah, I think and I think it's a popular series because I mean I don't know how many there are now, but I think it's in the
There's
20s.
22.
Yeah.
Because and the reason I have this is because John Connelly released the latest edition of the Charlie Parker character, I guess, in July of this past year. And in February, earlier in the year, they offered a bundle. So it was all 22 books for like $18. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
It was a good deal on the Kindle. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. It's as I say, it's a series I've wanted to read, so
yeah,
perfect
good.
timing.
For sure. For spooky season.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping this is going to be a little bit more up my alley. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens with it. So everybody watching at home, if you'd like to join us, it is John Connelly's Every Dead Thing, which is the first. I don't know if you can see that, but I'll put a picture in between us here.
Yeah.
It's the first in the Charlie Parker series, and the video for this will be released on Halloween, the 31st of October. How about that?
Yeah.
Trick or treat.
Well, we'll wait and see.
Yeah, right. All right. Well, this was an experience. So
It was.
I'll take the first DNF award. Give
Yeah, you can have that.
And now I've opened the floodgates. So don't be afraid to DNF if you have to in the future.
No. If I don't, no. I'm
Okay.
yeah.
But
We'll see what happens.
It's totally acceptable here. There's no
Yeah.
book shaming. We don't do any book shaming here. All right, Alan. Well, this was fun. Were you shocked? Were you shocked when I said I DNF'd it?
I was like, oh no, because I knew what was coming next.
Yeah.
And I deliberately did that. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, with the book in front of my face as a bit of a tease.
And I'm thinking, oh my God, did he DNF it too?
Yeah.
You got me.
Yeah. So, yeah.
This was fun.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Hopefully this will be in like your top 10 of 2025.
I don't know. I was looking, in fact, I was looking yesterday because I did a top 10 in June of the first 6 months. And, I think there are still some really strong contenders from the beginning of the year. So I don't know how many will drop off in. I haven't looked at.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, blink and it'll be December. So get that list going.
Well, yeah.
All right. Well, let's focus on the next book.
We will start reading it in October, and then we will be meeting up, doing our filming, and then we'll be releasing it to you all on Halloween.
Yep.
All right, everyone. Well, thanks so much for hanging out with us and watching our video.
Yeah,
leave
thanks,
us a comment. Yeah, leave us a comment in the comment section down below. Do you enjoy Shelf Talkers? Are there any books that you would want us to read? Leave those recommendations, because we're always open to suggestions.
Yeah.
And make sure to like this video, subscribe to Alan's channel if you haven't done so already, and we will see you in the next one.
Yep.
All right. Great seeing you, Alan. I'll catch you next month.
Thanks, MJ.
You got it. All right. Have a great month.
Yeah, and you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.